Are you helping, Tesla? Are you helping? So what's up, hooligans? Moto Mike 805 here, and today we're rebuilding the front brake caliper on my 2009 Sportster. It's a XL883L or low model. So this is the it's only got one caliper. It's on the left side, and I've already broken it down. And I did record that, but it ended up being kind of a pain in the butt because I was trying to do the recording myself, and I was getting grease, you know, brake fluid all over my hands, and trying to like move the camera around. I didn't have a camera person. Wasn't working too well. So I've got it all broken down, which that's pretty easy. You know, all you do is, you know, take it apart. You know, compress the pistons about as much as you can and still get the pads out. So, you know, you take it off and pump the brake until you got a little gap there, so you can still get the brake pads out. That way you don't have to blow too much air in here to blow the pistons out the rest of the way. That was another thing. I used to have a nice air compressor with the rubber attachment, the tip to stick in there to blow these out, and I don't have that when we moved from Fresno. We didn't have any room in the garage for the big air compressor. So I had a little tiny one that's just for doing tires, and it had like a hard plastic tip, and that didn't work as well. It did get them out. It just took like 2 minutes. I mean, they were slowly coming out. I stuck the hard plastic tip in there and turned it on. And first I didn't think it was doing anything, and then I noticed, oh, they were slowly coming out. It's just I couldn't get a good enough seal around here, and the air was kind of blowing back to get them out. But finally did get them out. I've got it cleaned out as much as I could here. You know, I've seen some other people that rebuild these online, and they look brand new. I think they soak them in parts cleaner. I cleaned it up as best I could with some brake fluid spray. Got all of, it might be kind of hard to see in the lighting in here, but got all of the debris. There was no debris really in there, but cleaned it out really well. Made sure that we cleaned around where the seals are going to go. There wasn't like really any corrosion or anything in there. It looked good for the most part. I say this is a pretty dirty looking caliper right now, but I swear I cleaned it and scrubbed it and cleaned it some more. I did put the boots back on already. I probably should have recorded that, but all you got to do with those boots is get them back in the best you can with your hands, and then just use a little screwdriver to work it to get them seated in the little lip down there. So everything I've got here, you know, I've got I don't know if you can see it here, I've got the lid off, but just some brake fluid to lubricate the seals when you put the pistons in. Got some CRC brake and caliper grease, and I did have some canned air here just to kind of make sure we get any debris blowing out of there. The only thing I wasn't able to find was this O-ring for the bleeder screw. I did find a bleeder screw online, but it's 20 bucks, and it didn't say if it came with a new O-ring. The part number, if you go into the sports, and I recommend buying a manual, or not a manual also, but also buying the parts catalog, because more times than not, when you call a Harley dealership, they do not want to give you parts numbers, and that's because they don't want you going online. They want you coming and buying your parts from them, which I guess is understandable. But you can usually pick up parts catalogs on eBay for anywhere from 20 to like 50 bucks. It really depends. I usually just watch for them, and then when they become available, bid on them or buy them. There's always one on there, but they're usually, if you go on and you see that the only one they have is 100 bucks, just wait a few weeks or month. Most likely you'll come across the one for your bike much cheaper, or an auction. So this is for the Sportster 883, and then what we ordered, I don't know if this is going to come out in the camera. Actually, I've got the camera, I don't know if this will be vertical here. It was I'm trying to read from the side here. Where is the... Oh, okay, let me go back over here real quick. So we ordered right here, number 1. Oh, it's right at the top. And that is part number 420287-07, piston kit front. And what that came with was, at least I hope that was the right one I'm showing you. I thought it was like in the middle of the page. So I got this off eBay. It was, I want to say 20 bucks. I'll put a link to it in the description, but that's their part number. But here's the kit. So it's got the 2 pistons, new pistons, and the seals in there. Oh, here, it was from Jay's powersports.com, motorpowersports.com. So I'll put a link to the YouTube seller I bought these from. So we got this all cleaned up in here, and I'm ready to put the seals back in. And go ahead and open this up here. Alright, so this thicker one here goes in, the lower one there goes in first. And basically you just put these in with your fingers. I don't know how well this is going to come out in the video. I don't think it is anyways. Let me put the light there. Do not think that is seated in there right. Maybe it just needs worked in there a little bit. So what I don't want to do is try to put the piston in and then pinch it and end up tearing the new seal. Trying to see here. That one was a little harder to get seated in there. It looks, I don't know if you can see in the camera, looks like it's pretty well seated. Like I need a brighter light. I think the bottom one there is good. Now we gotta put that top one in, which is usually easier. If you do use picks like I am, just make sure you don't scratch or gouge surface in there, because then you'll have a leaking. So this is what happened on the bottom one. It kept folding over. Come on, get in there. Yes, I think if I had smaller fingers, this would be a little easier. It still looks like this lip here is, oh, there we go. That lip wasn't seated. So you want to make sure it's as flush as you can get in there and it's not twisted at all. And there's no pieces sticking out, which I don't know if it's my glasses, this angle of the lighting, I can't, seems like I can't see too well in there. Probably better do this out in the sunlight if it wasn't 110 degrees outside right now. That's another reason why I clean out really good in there, because if there's any corrosion where those seals seat, it'll cause them to stick out a little bit. And you don't want them to stick out, because then when you go to put your piston in there, it'll hang up. I'm not going to put it in yet, but so you can feel it sitting on top of the seal. So hopefully those are in there well enough. Alright, so I think we got that straightened out there. It was kind of it was twisted a little, and it was really hard to tell that it was. But that, I believe, looks better, because now I can see the center of the seal. If you look at this seal, I don't know if you'll be able to see in the camera, in the middle of it there's a little split in the inside diameter, in the inside of the seal. And when I was looking at it in there, you could see it was smooth, there was no slit. So I had to kind of work it around so you could see that little slit in there. I think, it's hard to tell at this angle, but I think it's good all the way around now. So now we gotta get the other one in. Okay, now it's crazy because that one seemed to go in so easy compared to the other one. And I can see the little slit all the way around. Well, that's how it goes sometimes. That first one was hard to work in there, and then that one just slid right in. Now, as long as everything's in there good, we should be able to slide those pistons in. One over here still feels a little like it's not quite flush, but it won't be totally flush. It does need to stick out past the surface to create the seal. Well, let's give it a shot. I'm taking some brake fluid and going to lubricate the seals here. And we're just going to put some on the seals, not on the piston. This is the surface that the piston will slide against, is the seals, not the metal. So hopefully, fingers crossed. And see, I do recommend using new pistons as well. Make sure you get it in there as flush as possible. You don't want it going in sideways. And that's what you want to hear, and that's what you want to see. You notice how it went in there nice and smooth. And you want to push it all the way back. That's going to be less air in there that you got to bleed out later. So get these pushed all the way in. So let's go ahead and we're going to lube up the other side here. Just using a little bit of brake fluid. Now the Sportster this year is .4. Make sure you check your, well, actually it says right on the reservoir what brake fluid to use, because there's types you don't want to mix because it'll turn into like glue. So slide this one in slowly, working it in there. Whoops. Now it was the other side that I thought I was having problems with, and this side doesn't seem to be wanting to go in too easily. Maybe it's here. Oh, there we go. That feels good. All right. So both of those slid in nice and firm. Didn't catch it. I know I've had friends that said they've done theirs and, oh, I had to use like a vise to push it in, and then it was leaking, and it's because those seals, if they're just sticking out a little too much and you force this in, you're just going to tear the seal in there. So you want to be able to get it in with your hands. If you can't get it in with your hands, then something's wrong. Take it back out and recheck your seals. So that is basically it. I'm going to go ahead and put the bleeder screw back in here just so I don't lose it. See, I would have liked to replace that seal right there on the O-ring, but couldn't find one. I could probably go to a parts store and give it to him and find it. When I tore this apart, it was saturated with brake fluid, but when I cleaned it down and then applied some pressure trying to see where the leak was coming from, maybe I just wasn't waiting long enough, I couldn't see where the fluid was leaking. So I don't know if it was coming from here or if it was coming from right here. I'm pretty sure it was not here because I didn't see any brake fluid on the outside of the caliper. When I took it apart, it was all over around the pads and in this area. Maybe I just would have had to let it sit longer. I thought squeezing the brake I would see some coming out, but it probably was so slow that you just wasn't able to see it in the minute that I was applying pressure. So that is, oh, you know what? I guess also we got our brake grease here. So we'll slide this back on. I forgot about this part. And I got my cat up here trying to help me, or getting in the way. And over here. Hope this isn't too close to the camera, but so get boot on. It's gonna, yeah, I should probably put some down in that boot because it's gonna, the boot's gonna squeeze it all off of there. So we'll put some down in here. think that one through. So I slide this back together. I think the boot's just gonna scrape all that lube I just put on there back off. So I'll get down in the hole there. And we'll see, wipe off a little excess grease. Extra Q-tip here. You know, use this to get the grease out of there. So I also ordered some new brake pads, because the other ones are just covered in brake fluid, and they were pretty much down to the bottom, so they were they were about ready to be replaced anyways. All right, so we got it back together. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? You don't want to forget this. Oh wait, I think it just pops over. It doesn't go into the screw, does it? Yeah, I can just stretch it over. Don't forget your little nipple cover here. You don't want to get stuff down in there, debris. So there is the reassembled caliper that we rebuilt and put new seals and pistons in there. And then when the brake pads get here, we'll put the brake pads on and put it back on the bike and take it for a test drive. So that's it. Sorry for my probably terrible recording. I most likely could have done much better, but my cameraman is busy with his girlfriend right now, and I think he's too preoccupied to help me, so oh well. All right, remember, all you YouTubers out there, ride like everyone's a hired assassin trying to kill you. Stay safe. Peace.